All right, fans, here we go. This is it, the main event of the evening, the IBF Bantamweight Championship of the World, 12 rounds of boxing. Introducing to you first the challenger. On my left, fighting out of the blue corner. He enters the ring wearing red trunks with white trim, fighting out of El Paso, Texas, by way of Gomez Palacio, Durango, Mexico. His weight is at 117 3/4 pounds. His record, 28 wins, 4 losses, and 13 wins by way of knockout. He is currently the NABF Bantamweight Champion. Introducing tonight's challenger, Fernie Matorito Morales. And his opponent across the ring. On my right, fighting out of the red corner, is the defending champion. He enters the ring wearing blue trunks with white and red trim and hailing from Laredo, Texas. His weight is at 118 pounds. His outstanding record includes 28 wins, only 1 defeat, 1 draw, with 23 big wins by way of knockout. He is the defending IBF Bantamweight Champion of the World, introducing Orlando Canizales. The referee in charge now to give instructions, Robert Bird.
Gentlemen, I gave you instructions in the dressing room. The only thing I'm going to tell you now, I expect a championship effort out of both of you. When I tell you to stop, that's what I want you to do. When I say break, I want you to break and break clean. Let's do it.
Scheduled 12 rounders, the IBF Bantamweight Championship on the line as Orlando Canizales makes his 7th title defense against a very popular, well-spoken Fernie Morales. 28 and 4, 12 KOs. And he comes in today hoping to bring the world title belt back to El Paso, Texas. Once again, tonight's action brought to you by the Gobi Group. World Championship fight today from the Desert Expo Center. Humilay Mike Marley ringside. Thanks for joining us. Should be a tremendous fight as Canizales goes out and tries to loosen up the right hand right off the bat.
Well, it's a trademark of Orlando Canizales to start quick, start fast. And trainer Jesse Reed revealed to me that he will be doing that here, coming out like an express train, trying to get Morales to make a key mistake early on.
We will see as we get Orlando coming off that stunning 8th round win back on May 4th in Laredo. The brawl at the border. Mike Marley, Humilay ringside for that event. And boy, that was tough conditions, over 100 degrees at ringside. And he just kept the pressure up the entire time. A little more pleasant conditions inside the Expo Center here in Indio. And both fighters just kind of checking things out at center ring. Robert Bird is your referee.
This is 7th defense now of the IBF 118-pound title for Orlando Canizales. He's really grown as a champion. You know, the old cliche is that you get better when you win a world title, and whether it's mentally and or physically, Orlando Canizales just seems to improve.
1 loss, and that was a 12-rounder to Paul Gonzalez back in 1986. He hasn't lost since. As you said, Mike, he continues to improve. And
later avenged that loss with a 2-round TKO over Gonzalez.
Right hand lands flush on Fernie Morales' chin. Morales took maybe a baby step backwards, but nothing to make note of, at least in this first round. Both fighters appear to be in excellent physical condition.
Now you have to keep a close eye on Orlando because he is lightning quick and he hits with thunderous punches. Not trying to sound like a meteorologist to you, but he's very explosive, and when he unleashes the power combination, I think Orlando can take any man his size out.
Inside 1 minute to go as the action kind of turns up a little bit here in round number 1, and Canizales is sizing up the opposition. Fernie Morales is his name, and he's a gentleman who feels this is a great shot for him, but many people perceive Orlando maybe one of the best bantamweight champions in many, many years, and is currently in search of some competition at 118.
You know, it's hard, Hugh, as good as he is and is acknowledged to be one of the best in the world pound for pound by boxing experts, it's difficult for a bantamweight, being so small, to really capture the imagination of at least the American public, and that's what Orlando's looking to do. His last title fight was that sensational knockout over England's Billy Hardy. That was on national TV, and that had an impact.
Morales landing maybe his best shot of the fight, the overhand right, just grazing. We are through 1 of 12 here at the Expo Center. Pretty good round for both fighters. Morales kind of getting a grip, and this is his first world title shot, so I'm sure that adrenaline and excitement has to kind of shake through your body for the first 3 minutes.
We're just looking in the corner of Orlando Canizales. You see how cool, calm, and composed he is. He and trainer Jesse Reed work together brilliantly. You know, if you have a good trainer, teacher, coach, whatever, if the boxer or the athlete doesn't listen and respond, but Orlando and Jesse work together. It's hand in glove, hand in boxing glove, if you will, but Orlando follows his instructions to a T, and he's a very smart, ring-wise fighter. In fact, an expression near and dear to you, he's one of the top ring generals in the sport of boxing.
Without question. As we look at Jesse Reed, as we said, you know, it almost looks like Orlando could be an accountant. He looks so cool, calm, and collected. He's ready to, you know, get your taxes from you or something, but he's a guy when he really turns it on inside the ring, but never really loses his composure. We've seen him hurt people and actually been hurt, but he never seems to lose that ring generalship.
Wasn't long ago that his brother Gabby, his older brother, was holding...
Right hand. Down goes Morales. He doesn't know where he is. He should go to the neutral corner.
That's the explosion we were talking about the first round, Hugh.
Robert Byrd giving him the standing 8. Fernie Morales is up quickly. And now Canizales turning into a tiger, looking to...
He never saw that punch coming. Never saw, lightning quick.
Now the eyes, another right lands on Morales. Morales is a little groggy, and the stance certainly isn't too good right now.
Canizales is, like Mike Tyson, a great finisher. He gets you hurt, he knows it, and he'll be all over this guy like a cheap suit.
Morales trying to come back, keeping the pressure on. Another right hand lands inside on Morales. Morales showing a lot of grit and determination, pressuring the champion against the ropes.
Well, I don't think Morales wants to be right here on the inside because he won't win that war.
Morales keeping the pressure on. Fernie Morales coming back from the knockdown.
He snuck in now 2 right hands, Morales. But if he's going to trade with Canizales, he's going to wind up on his back.
Robert Byrd pulling him apart there. Much was the dismay of the crowd who thought that Morales was getting the better of that rope exchange. Morales got the wake-up call, and now Canizales, a nice combination as Robert Byrd looks inside. Maybe a headbutt, I don't know. Watch the headbutt, Robert Byrd warning Canizales, who seldom is warned for anything illegal. Oh, there's a cut over the left eye.
It looks like it's in the middle of the eyes, rather, in the forehead area, so the blood probably dripping down the nose area.
Morales seeing the blood and now trying to maybe turn up the pressure a little bit, and you'll watch a technician like Canizales just going to town on that. I
didn't see that cut immediately. I think that's a sign of one of the top referees in the world, Robert Byrd. He was right on top of it.
Morales being knocked down here in round number 2, back up and trying to keep the pressure, but it's still the champion pretty much in charge. Excuse me,
you see the good defense of Canizales when he makes Morales miss.
Inside 25 seconds, round number 2, good round for the champion. A knockdown scored about the 1 minute and a half mark. Now he's going to town on a cut over that left eye of Fernie Morales. Comes in with a mark of 28-4. Round number 2 is in the books, and by the way, they have had one common opponent. It appears Eddie Rangel, and it was Fernie scoring a 12-round decision win, while it was Gabby scoring a 5th-round knockout. And so there's, if you like to look at common opponents, Eddie Rangel was the one there, and you saw the dominance by Orlando Canizales. And knockout punchers at his level are pretty hard to come by. They usually score a lot more decision wins.
Here we see the knockdown. Boom! right hand, sweeping right hand by Orlando Canizales. Again, I don't think Morales, let's see it again now. Left hook and a right hand. I don't think he ever saw the right hand coming. It's like getting hit by a runaway freight train. Now, Canizales and Reed loved this fight going in because they knew that Orlando wouldn't have to chase for Matt Morales.
Round number 3, once again, tonight's action from the Desert Expo Center in Indio, California, brought to you by the Gobi Group, and Orlando Canizales, the champion, starting quickly here in round number 3. That overhand right is there for the taking.
That first punch you mentioned at the start of the round, that was the explosive left hook of Orlando Canizales, and I think that's his bread and butter punch.
He put Billy Hardy down on May 4th back in Laredo for about 10 minutes, and if you doubt his punching power, just ask Billy Hardy, because he took the full brunt of the attack on that very hot, steamy Saturday afternoon in Laredo, Texas.
And he gave Hardy a vicious beating for the 8 rounds. So, you know, to go rounds with Canizales, you pay the price.
You look up and down that bantamweight category, and there just isn't a lot of notable competition for a guy like Orlando. We talked with promoter Cedric Kushner, and he says he wants him to fight more, get more national notoriety and international as well. He certainly has captured the imagination of the people in the southwest part of the country with the large Hispanic following, like in Texas and here in Indio, but nationally, he's not well known.
I'll tell you, Canizales is an ideal fighter for young boxers to study because he does almost everything right.
Always on balance, always looking in. Concentration is superb. As you mentioned, at the top, he's got all the punches. Superb quickness. He never comes in out of shape. Never has to worry about making weight. Something we should all like to worry about. But this gentleman is just a real champion at age 25, and as you said, getting better and better.
And again, we talked about how he is like Mike Tyson, one of the best finishers in the game. Another thing that you can compare him to Mike Tyson is that he throws his punches with bad intentions, as the late Cus D'Amato used to say. There's no wasted motion, no wasted punch. Even his jab is a stiff jab.
You know, Fernie Morales is doing a nice job surviving as far as this round goes, but that's about all he's doing, because he really hasn't hit Gabby Orlando with much of a shot as we get the Canizales brothers mixed up again. Morales trying to muscle Orlando Canizales, but that could be a mistake as well, because Orlando can do as much damage inside as he can outside. Against the ropes, he's very tough, although Morales has landed some decent shots in there.
Some nice uppercuts.
Beautiful body work, beautiful body work. It's almost like Orlando said, enough is enough, and let's get to work.
You mentioned Orlando's composure. He is like a stern account. Never changes expression.
Eyes are always focused on the opponent right in front of him. Always on balance, always moving. The crowd coming to life. In between rounds, the Car Girls led by cheering by my color man, Mike Marley. Just kidding. There's a look at the corner. Jesse Reed and Orlando Canizales. Looked like Jesse's getting a little more stern with Orlando. He was really far more demonstrative after that third round. Maybe he feels that this guy's there for the taking. Let's get it out of there.
Exactly. You're a mind reader, among other things. But I tell you, I think he does want Canizales to, let's get this over with, because Morales is no pushover. He's no patsy, and he throws some hard punches. But, before the fight, it's like Jesse Reed told me. He said, hey, we don't get paid by the round. We get paid by the fight. So if they can make it a short night, they will.
And as we mentioned before, promoter Cedric Kushner saying he wants Canizales to fight more often. And we're probably talking, this is just his second fight of 1991, and that's not a good way to build up a big following. He's got to fight more often. Get those big paydays, which I'm sure he wants, and certainly capable of cashing in on. Morales Morales had a little rally there in round number 2, then quickly the champion took control. We're now round number 4. Just so quick, gets in and gets out so quickly, so effectively.
Excellent hand speed, Hugh, Orlando Canizales. And again, repeating myself, he is so well schooled, Orlando.
Fernie Morales is certainly a nice gentleman, former Mexican national champion, but I don't know as far as matching technique and skill level with this gentleman, Orlando Canizales, rated by most boxing magazines as one of the top 5 fighters pound for pound in the world. You can throw in Tyson, Evander Holyfield,
Julio Cesar
Chavez,
of course.
They're all right up there. This gentleman probably getting the least of the notoriety of all the aforementioned.
Well, again, that's, you know, being a bantamweight, you don't get the credit here in America that you would elsewhere.
Looks like they've done a nice job in the corner of Fernie Morales on that cut over the left eye, and that has not been a factor here in round number 4. On the attack in the blue trunks is Orlando Canizales. Big combination right there. Very quick.
Got in there with that left hook again, Hugh. That's his bread and butter punch.
40 seconds ago in round number 4, and Canizales doing the uppercut, which Jesse Reed was imploring him to do there between rounds 3 and 4, working that uppercut.
But Morales is still there, and he's still in the fight.
Getting a decent combination there, probably the best combination for Fernie Morales of the night. Now he's starting to feel his Wheaties a little bit here, keeping the champion on the ropes. Little elbow in there. Some good action at the end of round number 4. Tremendous action. As they say, Mike, they could probably fight this round in a phone booth. Oh, big right hand landed by the champion. Enough is enough. One for good measure at the end of round number 4. The champion said, "You've had your fun, Mr. Morales. Now it's time for the champion to take over." A straight right hand flush on the face of the challenger. Snapped his head back. Morales gave him a look, and Canizales says, "More of the same next round, pal."
Well, here they are along the ropes. Morales having it all his way. A slingshot right hand.
Tremendous
Had that come a few seconds earlier, I think we might have seen a Canizales knockout. A sensational booming right hand by Canizales. Unfortunately for Orlando, it came just before the second bell, a nanosecond before the bell. That's the parents of the world champion Orlando Canizales and his lovely wife Fernie here at ringside.
Parents are to the left, and Roberto Canizales is there's a look at the family. And round number 5. There's Fernie Canizales is the wife, and obviously he has a vested interest in today's outcome. And feeling that maybe her husband, maybe you're ready to end this afternoon's out right at the end of the last round, could really set the tone for the next one. And Canizales has come out like a bullet here in round number 5.
They were working on that cut again above the eye of Fernie Morales in the corner. And Canizales, of course, will look to bust it open.
Fernie Morales had his day down in Indio at the end of the 4th round, and then the gap Orlando checked that. Just want his brother to be up there, Mike. I'm sorry. Orlando Canizales quickly reach up.
We just viewed almost the entire Canizales family from Laredo, Texas, and I wonder why Gabby's not here. He's just become an ex-champion, but I'm sure he's watching on television back home in Laredo.
Round number 5 of the scheduled 12-rounder, and so far the champion has had it pretty much his own way with a knockdown in the second round and some great action in rounds 3 and 4, and a big combination, 3-punch combination.
Orlando picks you apart with those sharp punches. When they were both holding world bantamweight titles and we were in Laredo, I asked Gabby Canizales if he would ever contemplate, should the purse be high enough, fighting his brother Orlando. I thought he was going to take a shot at me. Gabby took offense. He said, "No way." So I guess an example of brotherly love.
Morales back on the attack again, working to get Canizales against the ropes. And Canizales looks like he's trying to lure him in for some more trading activity. Everything Orlando Canizales does is pretty much planned anyway.
And Canizales complaining to referee Robert Bird about Morales using the head Billy Goat fashion. Hugh, I think you're absolutely right. Along the ropes there, I think Orlando was like the spider to the fly, kind of jump right ahead in my web.
Although Morales has not done, he's done some pretty good work against the ropes, his best by far, but now on the attack, and four-punch combination by the champion.
Another slashing left hook by Orlando.
That left hook's been there all afternoon.
It would hardly be a surprise if that's the shot that takes Morales out. Again, I don't mean to presume that Morales will be taken out, because he has really withstood some hard punches.
Round number 5, inside 30 seconds here. The champion once again exuding ring generalship, as he has almost from the opening bell in round number 1. One knockdown, as we mentioned, in round number 2, and now big combination. Fernie Morales, very, very tough. He's taking some big shots and still there.
Again, you see that Orlando's a boxer, puncher.
End of round number 5, and according to the man to my right's pitching a shutout with a 10-8 in there as well.
I've got a 49-45 Canizales favorite through 5 rounds.
We get looking around for Fernie Morales. His last bout was February 3rd of this year, a 12-round decision over Eddie Rangel. And we'll see if he can turn it up here a notch against Orlando Canizales, who, when we look at the 118-pound area, you almost have to jump up to 122, Mike, as we take a look at some of the bigger names here. Jesse Benavides, Daniel Zaragoza. There's some names here that can certainly bring bigger paydays. And for Canizales, I don't know if he would ever consider leaving 118 to 4 pounds. At that weight is a lot to think about. Round number 6, it's the IBF Bantamweight Championship from the Expo Center in Indio, California. And the champion in the blue trunks, Orlando Canizales, has pretty much been in control from the opening bell, looking for his 7th title defense.
Looking back, Hugh, the end of the first round, if you recall, Morales landed a couple of lead right hands at the end of the, hard shots, landing right on the chin of Orlando at the end of round 1. I think he got a little cocky, and I think that's what led to the second round knockdown, but Morales survived, and he's on the offense now.
Morales landing a long left, which looked better to the crowd than it felt to Orlando Canizales.
I think that Team Canizales, including trainer Jesse Reed, are a little surprised that Morales is still here in round 6.
Canizales landing a quick left hook. Fernie Morales, a gentleman who was named the El Paso, Texas Athlete of the Year back in 1990.
A very prestigious award, I might add.
It was either that or the UTEP minors, so they gave it to Fernie, but very popular down there.
And I can see why. He's an action fighter. He comes in top condition. Right now, he's gunning for a world title.
And in with the best at 118 pounds, Orlando Canizales, and finding out just how good he is. Keeping those gloves up, says Robert Bird. What I like about Canizales, he hardly ever throws any long punches. Everything's always turned in. He's always on good balance. Even the hooks are short. Everything's snappy. Doesn't leave himself open. Fernie Morales doing some nice work against the ropes. We don't want to totally disregard his efforts here, because a couple rounds he's had some very nice flows.
Oh, Morales has certainly, definitely been competitive. Just as you mentioned earlier, Hugh, I think he's a little bit outclassed, a little bit in over his head, rather. There's that nice, lead right hand, or actually counterpunching right hand by Morales. He's been accurate with that.
Canizales saw an opening there at the right hand and just did miss. He's doing some super work inside, both fighters. Morales has really had, this is maybe his most complete round. I think we saw this in Orlando against Billy Hardy, kind of a lull, rounds 4, 5, and 6, and then got the wake-up call about round 7 and put out Billy Hardy in round number 8. He has done this before. Although Morales is turning up the heat here, this by far and away is his best round.
Morales seems to take a pretty good punch, and he keeps coming back.
Inside 10 seconds to go here in round number 6, and Fernie Morales, the challenger, saying that, yes, I do indeed intend to be here for a while, Mr. Champion. Great action. End of round number 6. Halfway through the fight, and I got a feeling you give Fernie Morales his first round of this one. Fernie Morales getting the first round.
Actually, I gave him the opening round as well, so, but right now I've got Canizales up by a comfortable margin of 3 points.
So we get a look in the corner of the challenger, Fernie Morales. Chuck Bodak doing the work in there as well, and once again, Chuck getting a A for effort for that corner action.
Early in the round, you see Morales swarming, sort of a buzzsaw approach, nice right hand. Late in the round, Morales doing the same. There's a punch south of the border. And Morales definitely, dominating that round, so.
We head into the second half of this scheduled 12-rounder. It is the IBF Bantamweight Championship, and the challenger, Fernie Morales, having by far and away his best round in round number 6, starting to get the crowd involved here. The champion, Orlando Canizales, after scoring a second-round knockdown, has fought very well, but maybe cruising a little bit here through the middle rounds. They'll better turn it up because Fernie Morales is starting to feel it.
Well, now there's a punch we haven't seen Canizales employ much today. He's going to the uppercut, which is usually one of his better punches.
Morales,
but he's used it rarely to this point.
Fernie Morales really has gotten into the flow of the action. Good round for round number 6, and thus far here in round number 7. Certainly landing more punches, and Canizales is certainly know he'll be in a World Championship fight tonight.
One of Canizales' supporters, might be one of his sparring partners at ringside, telling him to double up the jab. Orlando did it. Takes instruction well. Sorry, Hugh.
Overhand right briefly landed on the head of Canizales. The crowd was far more impressed with it than was Orlando Canizales. But Fernie Morales certainly landing far more punches here this second half of the fight.
Well, the crowd typically now, going the underdog's way, but Morales, I have him behind by 3 points, but he is, becoming more impressive.
Canizales at 5'4" and I believe Morales is 5'3", so two gentlemen pretty evenly as far as physical, but without question, Canizales has the reach advantage and the technical skills in his favor as well as he comes in and gets out very quickly.
One thing I'll tell you about Orlando Canizales, he loves to score knockouts, and he'd be greatly disappointed if he had to go the 12-round route here.
Morales looks like he's trying to catch his breath here at the end of round number 7. Comes in and now gets a champion against the ropes, but quickly Orlando Canizales does a beautiful job of spitting away.
Again, as you pointed out, the crowd gets overexcited at anything that Morales does.
Inside 10 seconds to go in round number 7, and Fernie Morales, another good round, but not as good as it was in round number 6. And really a very hard round to judge. People at ringside. Round number 7 in the books. Orlando Canizales, and there is your challenger, Fernie Morales, who's done a very, very good job after rather a slow start, being knocked down in the second round, and coming back on in round 6 and 7, and suddenly things are getting far more serious for the champion who comes in from Laredo, Texas. Two Texans fighting in California. Managed by Bob Spagnola is the champion. Orlando Canizales, as we said, he won this title belt back on July 9th, 1988, some 3 years and 2 months ago. He's defended it this will be his 7th time.
Hugh, why do I keep interrupting? No, you mentioned Bob Spagnola, the manager of Canizales. He looks very concerned over at ringside. No day at the beach for his man.
Tonight's action brought to you by the Gobi Group. Round number 8 coming at you. It's the IBF Bantamweight Championship. And Orlando Canizales, after a very quick start, has let his challenger come in and think that he could pull this one out. And Fernie Morales is certainly feeding off a pro-Morales crowd here, a pro-underdog crowd, I might say. Overhand right landing very quickly on the chin of Orlando Canizales. Canizales, this is when he turned it on against Billy Hardy back on May 4th after kind of lethargically boxing his way through rounds 4, 5, 6, and 7. And we'll see what he's got here. Right hand landing right flush on the head of Orlando Canizales. And hats off to Fernie Morales, who appeared to be outclassed in the early rounds, but has really come on and made a beautiful account of himself.
Got to be critical of Orlando in one respect. I've never seen him get hit by right hands as much as we're seeing him get hit today.
And although we say he's always in shape, there are certain degrees that fighters prepare for fights emotionally and physically. And we know he's sky high for Billy Hardy, but this was an unknown quantity coming in. And coming in against a guy who really wasn't ranked, but maybe 11th by the WBC. So we'll have to see if Orlando wasn't as up for this fight as he possibly should have been, as he's finding out with another right hand landing on the jaw.
Well, from the very start, Morales has not been in awe of Orlando Canizales. Now, again, that lead right hand, Hugh. Not only that, Morales is landing body punches.
Yeah, right hand's been there 4 times already this round. And although Orlando shakes it off, we get to feel after a while it'll be a culmination of all these shots and slow down. Orlando Canizales, who uses his speed, his footwork, is definitely one of his strong suits.
Well, Morales almost a one-trick pony. Only that countering right hand. There you see he just missed the sweeping right, but basically that's the only punch he throws with bad intentions, and Orlando's having trouble eluding it.
Combination landed by the champion, but Morales coming right back and keeping the pressure on Canizales against the ropes. Inside 30 seconds of round number 8, another good round for the challenger, Fernie Morales, who continues to big left lead right there, Mike. I mean, he's pretty much landed just some very, very solid shots this 8th round.
Absolutely right. Right now, Morales looking sharp. Canizales shaking his head. He looks flat.
I think we'll see a very excitable Jesse Reed getting into the in-between rounds pep talk with his man, Orlando Canizales. Jesse often very composed, but Ken, big shot at the end of that round. There we get a look at Jesse Reed. He's obviously seen enough of his man being nailed by just about every right hand that the challenger, Fernie Morales, has thrown, especially in rounds 7 and 8. The crowd suddenly getting into it. Jesse Reed getting his champion's attention. But what a very, very tremendous comeback by Fernie Morales. So we didn't give much of. We didn't think this thing would go much past the 6th or 7th round, especially after the knockdown in the 2nd round.
No, he had him on the deck in the 2nd. Couldn't keep him there. And I think there's no panic in the corner of Canizales. We look at Jesse Reed exhorting him, though, to finish this guy off. By the way, Hugh, I've got Canizales up by 3 points with 4 rounds to go, and I would guess that the judges probably have it that close.
We're going to head into the last 25% of this fight. Round number 9 coming at you, and the champion certainly knows that he's in a fight right now. Upper cut with that left, and Canizales looks far more focused here in round number 9 than he did the previous 2 rounds. And after a pretty good tongue lashing by his cornerman, Jesse Reed, although the punches still continue to rain on the face of the champion, Fernie Morales has really done a tremendous job zeroing in on a very quick and often elusive Orlando Canizales. Underrated Fernie Morales, at least from our point. What a great show here.
Well, he's a gunslinger out of El Paso, Texas, and You know, we got El Paso against Laredo, and this looks like a Texas shootout. But right now, Canizales continues to be flat, Hugh.
He looks like he wants to turn it on, but every time he tries to get something going, Morales is just there with enough counter punches to keep him off balance.
Well, Morales really only does two things. He lands those right hands, either lead rights or countering rights, and he goes to the body occasionally. But there's another right hand. Orlando just not slipping the punches, not moving his head.
Almost every big exchange, it's Morales getting the better of it, landing the most telling blows in the last one. Another right hand to the face.
Either Orlando is not as sharp as he wants to be, or he might tell us that he just wants to get into a punching fest with this guy, and he'll take him out. So maybe that's what he's trying to do, but he has been hit repeatedly with right hands.
Is there a point in a fight that a fighter will say, this is going to distance, you have to pace yourself, because he's hit him with some very telling shots. Morales is still there and appears to be coming on.
Appears to be getting stronger with each round, definitely.
Well-built, solid, usually on balance. And as we said before, that right hand has been the big shot to Morales. And now the left.
Again, I've never seen Orlando Canizales get tagged by so many right hands.
They're trading right at center ring, and Canizales trying to get inside and land that slipping right punch. Seventh title defense, and maybe one of his more surprisingly tough ones.
You see Canizales shake his head. He got tagged with another right hand. I think Orlando's found a guy who's physically stronger than he is.
Fernie Morales coming in and giving it everything he's got and then some, and more than I think the champion thought that he was going to get today. Big combination by Canizales to wrap up here in round number 9, and the crowd, as you can see, really feeling it. Great round number 9 for both fighters. We're going to head into rounds 10, 11, and 12, and the crowd has certainly jumped on the Fernie Morales bandwagon. And that was another big round for the challenger.
Hugh, I've got it going into round 10. I've got Morales closing the gap now. I've got Canizales rather, over 2 points. There you see the lead right hand by Morales. Repeatedly, he's landed that lead right. This has been happening round after round. And if there's no panic in the Canizales corner, they've certainly got to be getting concerned. They don't know what the scorecards are, the official cards, neither do we. But I think it's got to be close.
Action again in round number 9. Now the left gets in there too, Mike. I mean, he's landed some major shots with both hands, and he's got to be feeling his Wheaties right now. I mean, he's starting to get more confident, being more aggressive.
Manager Rich Landers, who's handling Morales, told us his guy came to fight and that he was going to score a tremendous upset. It certainly would be a shocking upset if Morales could dethrone Orlando Canizales.
Big combination landed by the champion. I think he, like you said, Mike, he is trying to lure him into a punching, just a punch out at center ring, but each time it's almost like Morales, although really
Orlando hurt him with that left hook, Hugh. But he's just the bull, Morales. He hurt him, he comes back.
The physical strength of Morales is really told. He's short and stocky, and seldom off balance. Tremendous action here in round number 10, and the crowd certainly getting excited as well. Fernie Morales doing a beautiful job.
Even if Morales loses, Hugh, he has put his name on the bantamweight division map with this performance.
26 years of age, and certainly keeping the pressure on the champion. I think Canizales thought he'd come out here in round number 10 and end this thing, but he's still looking at his challenger, and challenger continues to throw a lot of punches.
Well, again, the Canizales camp told us, Hugh, they thought Morales would stand up strong for about 4 or 5 rounds, and that their man Orlando would then take him out. Here we are in round 10. Surprise, surprise.
And they trade in the corner of Orlando Canizales, who tries to get some good angles on the challenger. and landed some big shots. A good round for Orlando Canizales, but he's got to be frustrated. A straight right hand. He's got Morales reeling right now, although Morales just lands another right hand.
Well, now Orlando's got his rhythm. He's sharpshooting now.
He did this against Kelvin Seabrooks.
He's looking impressive now. All of a sudden, Orlando has generated the offense that he's used so often. And he's really making Morales a bloody mess, blood coming from all directions.
Good round for the champion, and as he has regained the momentum and another overhand right, and seems to get that confident bounce to his step again. Hats off to Fernie Morales, who's taken some big shots the entire fight, none bigger than this round. Big round for the champion, Orlando Canizales, and he needed it. The fight was, at least momentum-wise, was kind of slipping away there in round 7, 8, 9. We're in round number 10. We're inside 15 seconds. And Orlando Canizales, the champion, has regained the momentum, although Fernie Morales just continues to counterpunch him beautifully at the end of round number 10.
There's
Great
that left
round.
hook again.
This is the first World Championship fight ever in Indio, California, and I'll tell you, they are getting their money's worth without question. There's a look at Fernie Morales, and what a tremendous effort he's put forth today.
Well, back in round 2, you know, when Morales was on the deck, I don't think anybody in the arena would have thought we'd be in the midst of a war in the 10th round. Now going into the 11th round, I've got Canizales up by 3 points. The 10th round, here's the action. Canizales, a very strong round. He speared Morales with several good punches. They went toe-to-toe in this round, really heated up.
There's a look at Jesse Reed and the champion, Orlando Canizales, as he goes to the final 6 minutes to defend his title for the 7th time. Round number 11 on your screen. It's the champion, Orlando Canizales, making his 7th title defense against a game and sometimes very, very surprisingly good Fernie Morales. Hugh Millay, Mike Marley ringside. Today's action brought to you by the Gobi Group. And we're in Indio, California at the Desert Expo Center, the first world title bout ever held in Indio.
Fernie Morales hasn't let that blood bother him at all. The blood that came from above the eye, the blood from his nose, the blood from his mouth, hasn't deterred this little bull, and that's what he is. You look at him, he's a bull.
Coming in by way of El Paso, Texas, age 26, and a mark of 101-7 as an amateur, and so showing some tremendous skills today. We didn't give him much when the fight started, but he certainly has managed to maintain the pressure on the champion. Canizales, despite not being as sharp as we've seen, is still a classy and very finished fighter.
Morales, though, definitely a challenger and a contender with serious credentials. Morales may have proven himself better than he even thought, because he's fighting the #1 bantamweight in the world.
And given it was his all, as we are now in the 11th round, and we said Canizales was starting to sharpshoot again, Mike. But Morales still sitting there like a very determined bull.
Been a grueling pace to this fight with a round and a half to go. I mean, you know, some people mock the little guys, but quite often, the featherweights are down. You get the greatest fights.
They're always in great shape. They always keep a great pace. There's always plenty of action. Maybe the knockout ratio isn't as good as maybe the average sports fan would like, but certainly for pure boxing action.
Beats watching some clumsy heavyweights push and maul, belly bumping.
We're sold on the bantamweights. Inside 45 seconds to go in round number 11, and the challenger coming out with a big 3-punch combination, keeping the pressure on the champion. Orlando Canizales, we might want to hand him a chair here, Mike. That help to get Morales out, but Morales just landing the punches here.
I'll tell you, Canizales has a tremendous chin. He's taken some wicked shots from from Fernie Morales. Some wicked shots.
Morales, not a big knockout, 12 of his 28 wins, so that's under 50%, so doesn't take you out often.
But he's hit Orlando clean and on the point of the chin.
So great action at the end of round number 11. Rio will head into the final and 12th round. We get a look at the champion, Jesse Reed and Orlando Canizales, and we talked before that they felt very strongly that this fight would be well over. They might be packing their bags for Laredo, but they're still here. The challenger's still here, as Orlando Canizales will try to hold on to that 7th title defense. Team Orlando out of Laredo, Texas. We were there at the brawl at the border, and we're here for this one as well. Action round number 11, Mike.
Well, Canizales had been so sharp the round before. Here, Morales comes back. Canizales, and just a slugfest. I mean, they're going toe-to-toe. They traded basically on even terms in that round. They're working again on the cuts. Apparently, Morales is cut now on both arms.
A tremendous fight, especially when you consider that in the 2nd round, it was Morales on the mat, but the champion couldn't put him down. He'll touch gloves. Robert Byrd says, let's do it. And they quickly exchange lefts and rights at center ring.
I've got Canizales on my card up by 2 points, and I would assume that the judges have it similarly close.
So Canizales better keep the pressure on here in round number 12, or you never like to leave anything to doubt when it comes to the judges.
His world title could be on the line, in the balance here.
Morales landing a couple quick rights. Canizales sharpshooting with that jab, just trying to stay on the outside. And Morales...
That's what Morales needs to do, Hugh. He needs to go wild. He held them for leather in this last round.
Round number 12 is the IBF Bantamweight title belt on the line. Canizales has successfully defended 6 times. This is probably one of his tougher defenses, and certainly one where he might have slightly underrated his opponent today. And he's paying the price 36 minutes later. And the crowd trying to get the challenger juiced up for the last 2 minutes of action. Some great action on the ropes. Fernie Morales, 26 years, just put on a tremendous display of courage, and Canizales has not been able to do anything after that 2nd round as far as dominating. The big right hand, Morales still standing there. You see on your screen inside 1:20 to go. And Canizales is just trying to keep things in the center of the ring where he can sharpshoot, but Morales bowls him into the ropes and trying to land the combinations. Both fighters doing some nice work inside. Once again, Morales has been cut since about the 4th round, and it hasn't really slowed him down at all. We know Orlando loves the KO, but I think he's going to come up on the empty side of that today.
Well, Morales a little wild here, and he's very tired. They're both tired now.
Both
they have
fighters
a right to be.
But tremendous condition putting this kind of pressure on. Orlando's still on his toes. Inside 30 seconds, they trade again at center ring. Morales just missing with a wild right. Blood out of his mouth, his nose, and above his eyes. He will leave nothing in the corner today. Everything's been expended in the ring. They trade inside 10 seconds. Round number 12. And Canizales trying to finish with a flourish. Could be the difference when it goes to the scorecards. The crowd on their feet, and they'll finish it up. An exclamation point.
Again, here, the trademark left hook of Canizales. And if there's any doubt on the decision,
a tremendous last round, and Jesse Reed and Orlando Canizales. As you see Bob Spagnola, Jesse Reed in the corner of Team Orlando.
10-8 for Orlando.
At the last second, it was a 10-8 round. A great round of action, one in which Fernie Morales gave it his all. But in the last, got caught with that left hook.
Hugh, my final score, 115-11. Here's the knockdown. The left hook by Orlando Canizales. My unofficial scorecard, Canizales 115, Fernie Morales 111.
Well, Canizales might have come here for a 5-round workout, but he got a 12-round brawl without question. As he finishes with a flourish, flooring the challenger with about 5 seconds to go on the fight, which could prove the difference when indeed we do go to the scorecards. Getting hugs from his team, Team Orlando, coming in from Laredo, Texas. As we mentioned, Orlando Canizales, the dominant figure in the bantamweight division at 118 pounds. Here's the end of the fight. The action, you see Canizales sharpshooting from outside, then turning him with that left, and finally getting inside even more, and that would be followed by a quick left hook knockdown, which turned around maybe the fight from 10-9 to that round 10-8. And if there are any doubts in the scorecards at ringside, it was something that might have been given to the champion, as there's a game and very, very talented Fernie Morales, and there's promoter Cedric Kushner, very excited for his effort today. Up to Jimmy Lennon Jr. for the announcement.
Ladies and gentlemen, before I read the score totals, we have all seen an outstanding 12-round IBF bantamweight bout. No matter who the winner is, they both deserve a round of applause. Orlando Canizales, Fernie Morales, great world title bout. Well, ladies and gentlemen, after 12 rounds of boxing, we do have a unanimous decision, and here are the score totals. Judge at ringside, Paul Gibbs scores the bout 116-111. Guinadaire scores the bout 118-109. Ronnie Ralston, judge at ringside, scores it 119-108. All three in favor of the winner, and still champion Orlando Canizales.
A unanimous decision, as you see all three judges giving it quite impressively to the champion. A tremendous effort by the man on the right of your screen, Fernie Morales, who will lose for the 5th time in his career. A great 12-round bantamweight championship, and the man right there, Orlando Canizales, giving it all he had today, and indeed he had to do that.